Jameis Winston signs a one-year deal with the Cleveland Browns, and Nathan Peterman is in as the New Orleans Saints backup. Let's start with the Jameis Winston departure. I hate to see him go. I wasn't the biggest fan of his quarterback play outside of the 5 wins that he had with Sean Payton before he tore his ACL that year. And, people say the Saints did him dirty with the quarterback job, but Jameis Winston's starting days are done. I mean, they really are. Jameis Winston was moved off of by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a reason. You replaced one player, which is the most important one in the sport, and they won a Super Bowl, which tells you right there that Jameis Winston was the problem. Jameis Winston was not able to propel that team to a Super Bowl win. And because of that, that's why he lost his job. And that's not being rude to Jameis, but he wasn't it. I get it. Number 1 overall pick, Heisman winner, national championship winner, all that stuff. I get that. But Jameis just was not it. I appreciated what he did here in New Orleans. I thought he was great at the post-game pressers, his jokes, his personality, his videos. Jameis was fun to have here in New Orleans. He really was. We just saw a video the other day of him blessing a friend's wedding, just praying to the Lord, being thankful for everything that has happened. And, that's awesome to see from a guy in the NFL who has to spend a lot of his time disciplining himself and getting his body to the point of where it needs to be. I hate to see Jameis go, but he signs a 1-year, $8 million deal with the Browns. And I just think where the Saints were in caps, in salary cap situations, that was a lot for them to spend on quarterback. But again, I appreciate what Jameis did, and I hope he has a chance to win another starting job in this league for the sole fact that he played for my team. I hope he has a chance to be one of the better backups in the NFL because he does. I probably would have still liked, maybe Jacoby Brissett or Tyrod Taylor or someone like that in place of him because we know how Jameis can be when the going gets tough. But I hope that Jameis does find like a new part of his career, whether it's with the Browns or possibly another team. But was Nathan Peterman really the best we could do? Not Justin Fields, who just went out there for a 6th-round pick, not Ryan Tannehill, who's still a free agent, not Tyrod Taylor, not Josh Dobbs, who just signed with the Niners, not Jacoby Brissett. No, we're going to take Nathan Peterman. That's who we're going to take. We're going to take Nathan Peterman as our backup. And if you want to know what Nathan Peterman has actually done in this league, he's going to be competing with Jake Haener behind Derek Carr, which I think it should be Jake Haener's job, no doubt, for the backup. Saints sacrificed their 4th-round pick in 2024 to go up and get Jake Haener. Peterman was selected in the 5th round of the 2017 draft by the Bills. He started just 5 games and attempted only 160 passes through 6 years in the NFL. He has a 1-4 record in 5 starts. He's thrown 4 touchdowns and 13 interceptions, and he's been sacked 12 times. He's got more interceptions thrown and sacks taken than touchdown passes thrown. Only 160 passes. I mean, is this Trey Lance? Like, what are we doing here in terms of experience? I mean, really. It's good old New Orleans Saints. Good old New Orleans Saints. And here's the thing, too. This is such a Dennis Allen type of move. I'm trying to find the notes here because it seems like I've lost them. Nope, here it goes. Peterman has familiarity with both quarterbacks, coach Andrew Janocko and starting quarterbacks Derek Carr. He spent the last 2 seasons on the Chicago Bears aside Andrew Janocko. Before that, he played with Derek Carr on the Las Vegas Raiders, where he served as the backup from 2018 to 2021. So here goes Dennis Allen again with the buddy system. Whatever you need, pal. Sign here. I don't know what the 1-year deal is. I was not able to see numbers on that just yet, but it's Nathan Peterman. Jake Haener should be the QB2, no question. Yes, there are technically 4 quarterbacks on the roster, but I don't count Taysom as a quarterback since he's such a Swiss Army knife. We really need him to be healthier for other positions. But this was just a head scratcher, a real WTF moment here for the New Orleans Saints. I understand the Saints are cash strapped, but I mean, damn. He signed a 1-year deal. It could be more than for a couple $1 million. But knowing the Saints and how they do contracts and Dennis Allen's buddy system mentality that we've witnessed now going into year 3, which is absolutely horrible, We'll see how it plays out. He's still going to have to work out to actually make the roster and make the cut, which there's a chance that he doesn't, but that was your replacement for Jameis Winston? I get it. Gardner Minshew, $25 million over 2 years. That's a lot of money. But Tyrod Taylor didn't have a big deal. Jacoby Brissett didn't have a big deal. Justin Fields just went for a small draft haul. Again, I wouldn't have want him under Dennis Allen and Derek Carr, but still. And the Saints signing Chase Young on a fully guaranteed $13 million deal. Now, he's making about the same money as Carl Granderson when we extended him this year, who's been worth every penny, and about the same money as Cam Jordan as well, $13 million a year, fully guaranteed. But I don't know if I like the money for a guy who's got 16 and a half sacks over 4 years. He played 12 games in total over the last 2 seasons before he played the 16 games this year between Washington and the San Francisco 49ers. And unfortunately, he's been caught giving up on plays in the NFL. And that's not something that's going to fly with me as a fan. That's going to fly with any of the fans if we see it on tape, which we did with the Niners, we did with the Washington Commanders. The Saints need pass rush, okay? The Saints really need to get things going with their pass rush, because Cam Jordan only had 2.5 sacks last year. He's kind of fallen off over the last couple of years, but I mean, he's getting old. He's going to retire a Saint. He's early to mid 30s, and we know how that football age acts, especially when you're a guy like a defensive end who is constantly in the wear and tear of the game. It's again, I'm still catching up to how the NFL money makes me feel, because it's just wild to know that a guy who hasn't really produced over the last few years is going to get 13 million guaranteed from us. And maybe it's just a testament of us not signing the best deals, as we can see that we're in salary cap hell. But I don't like the 13 million fully guaranteed. And the news just came out that he's got neck surgery or neck injuries and certain body areas that he needs worked on, and he's going to be sidelined until training camp. All the other teams knew about this. The Saints knew about it before and were actually okay and willing to take things on. I hope that doesn't come back to bite us in the ass, and I will leave it at that there, because we all know what this could possibly turn into, especially with 13 million guaranteed. But I will say he was competing with Nick Bosa and Eric Armstead over in San Francisco for, pass rush reps, production. The Niners pass rush was definitely a unit that was cranking out sacks and production. Fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, Chase Young finished with 2.5 sacks, 10 tackles, 16 pressures in 9 games in San Francisco. On the season, he tied a career high at the same as his rookie year with 7.5 sacks, added 25 tackles, and 41 pressures between Washington and San Francisco in the 16 games that he did just play in 2023. The Saints now have 3 first rounders: Cameron Jordan, Chase Young, Peyton Turner, who's been an absolute disappointment, Isaiah Foskey, who's a second rounder, and Carl Granderson, of course, who is worth every penny after his extension this season. They're definitely investing into the pass rush, and I mean, rightfully so. They absolutely need to do that, because there needs to be more pass rush availability on this line, more production, more guys that can actually put out that consistent pressure on the quarterback. And now he's going to get a chance to chase Baker Mayfield. He's going to get a chance to chase after Bryce Young. He's going to get a chance to chase after Kirk Cousins. And we're going to need all the pressure on those guys that we can absolutely get. The pass rush was pretty lackluster last season. The Saints had a pass rush win rate of 32nd, which was the second worst in the league. The Cowboys led the league in pass rush win rate with 59%. So we were literally 50% efficient as the best team in the NFL. They had a total of 34 sacks throughout the season, which was tied for 29th. There were some bright spots in the pass rush for the season, like when we beat the Giants, but it was the Giants. And whether it was Daniel Jones for the short time or Tommy Cutlets, who was getting the hell beat out of him behind that offensive line. And like I said, the best pass rusher was Carl Granderson. He's very much earning his 4-year, $52 million contract. There was, kind of some personnel issues on the defensive line this year, and Chase Young gets to come in and supplement that. We totally understand that he's coming off the ACL injury from a few years back, and that did sideline him for his sophomore, campaign. But I think Chase Young can really plug in well here. And, I'm hoping, I mean, he's given props to Dennis Allen. He says that he knows Dennis Allen's going to hold him to a higher standard, bring the best out of him in a player, which is, absolutely great to hear. And he's saying all the right things, right? That's absolutely what you should say. Chase Young says he definitely plans to add a good piece here for the New Orleans Saints. He was kind of getting in some rotational pass rush packages behind Cleveland Farrell when he was over there with the 49ers. And second overall pick in the 2020 NFL draft, you'll see edges go that high, but when the production that he's had over the last few years are turning out the way that they have, it's going to make you bounce around and be a little bit of a journeyman like Chase Young's been here. At least, 3 teams over the last season and a half, however you want to cut it. We've been in the pass rush market, of course, since last fall. We didn't make any moves at the trade deadline last year, per usual. Finished the 2023 season with, again, ranked 28th in sacks with 34. That was our lowest total since 2016. So now we're starting to pile up the years of not being able to have our season averages and best, and especially in terms of getting after the quarterback. Peyton Turner, first round of 2021, didn't even know who the hell he was. Isaiah Foskey in the second round of 2023. Neither of those guys had a sack last year. Isaiah Foskey was a healthy scratch for most of the year, and Peyton Turner only played in 2 games because of his injury. So, Chase Young is going to add a good bit to this pass rush. I am hoping that the Saints can really, really put him into some majority of the snaps packages. And, if he's caught not giving his effort or if he's not producing well, then they'll adjust after that. But they've got a good talent. They've got solid talent in that front seven between DeMario, Willie Gay, Pete Warner, Chase Young, Cameron Jordan, Carl Granderson, more of Chase Young and Carl Granderson. Like, this is their time to go after it and get it. Of course, it would have been nice to keep Trey Hendrickson, but that did not happen, as again, the New Orleans Saints always love to be in salary cap hell.